officially. Hello. I was here. Uh, yeah, I revisit the idea of, hold on. Yeah. So I revisit the idea of going live at 10 because I was like, well, my, okay, I am on the serpent side, right? So I'm on the tortoise side, but every now and then I let my inner rabbit kind of have its way. And it's like, what's the big rush? We're ahead. So I shouldn't regret it as long as I don't make that a habit. As long as I don't repeat that, I'm okay. I could at the current moment, I it was okay for me to sacrifice the morning. That's all I did. All I did was sacrifice between 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m. So yeah, but I did not only a portion of the day. So actually, I'm here now. But um, yeah, I'm kind of coasting. All right. So, anyways, I made it here, obviously, and I'm gonna be around for the next. I don't know. Okay, so technically, I'm on post for the next 6 hours, but I don't know if I'm gonna like. Oh, by the way, um, as the sun is setting until till it reaches full set, usually starts at 6, like from like, yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit out of it. So yeah, I'm kind of forcing myself. I don't know what it is. It's like from 6 to 7, I'm kind of spacey. So I'm going through a, if you, well, I'm not, I want to say I want going through a transformation. I want to say that so bad, but I actually should say my, my biological, my nocturnal senses, are aligning. I guess my dopamine, it needs time, to kind of kick in. So between 6 p.m. and 7, uh, it's not really like that in the morning. Actually, I take that back. Up until 5 because because it's daylight. 5 o'clock is day. So then it's like, relax, chill. So that's when, but I don't quite go to sleep. I kind of drift. But anyway, so I'm here and oh yes. Also, uh, uh talking about our story. So I almost skipped a part because I know we were okay. So the last part of the story was, oh, it should be a little bit more relaxed. So I should be able to tell the story at least, um, or get through the story without interruption. So from the last live, we were talking about, he was asked to stay in a suite. It's an office suite. So he was asked, and to think about and throughout the night and have an answer in the morning if he would like to join and be a part of this team that's the it's an as an executive is offering. So throughout the night he ends up having a dream. Of course, he's I don't know how I forgot about that. He had a dream, okay, or he's dreaming. He finally, got comfortable and he started realizing that they're not coming to kick him out. And the security has already been instructed that he's in there. He's good. Don't need to bother him. Don't need to be alarmed. Don't put him out. Just let him hang out. you know. This particular executive habit has it like that. You know, he's not like, no, I have to, I'm sorry, sir, I got to put him out. You know, that's the policy. No, this executive can make a decision like that. So the security cleared got it, private security that the executive has, and it's like, okay, for everybody's security, you know, can escort people to their cars if they need it, etc. Make sure everything's locked up and everything is smooth, running smoothly through, you know, throughout the night. Everything is secure, and so he's not bothering our dear friend, who the executive actually brought in literally from outside, and said, and then you know just happened to chat with him and realize he's the executive says, I'm not speaking to somebody, you know, off the, like who's hard on their luck. This person really is intelligent, and so anyway, the executive felt comfortable, you know, asking him just to relax, have you know, that he could have the rest of the sandwiches from the day. They have catering, and he had these, you know, like just sandwiches, and so he has plenty of those. And he's been eating throughout the night, and of course, he says, you know, oh, by the way, he has remember the big black executive chair. He has that for his office, and so he's relaxed. He sinks in, and he starts to drift. Remember, the lights are dim. You can see the bright city lights. Has a beautiful, wonderful view of the cities. Big buildings, lights, all like it's lit. I mean, it's lively. The city is right now, and well, it's becoming more and more into the evening, and he doesn't have any money to really go, but he could. I mean, he could just be part of the 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 flow, the ebb and flow of the nightlife, and who knows what opportunities he could gain from that, you know, and especially getting out there. Well, it's a little late, and you can see everything, life happening, the nightlife happening, and he just relaxed because he also is in this big chair that's basically just kind of sinking into, and he has drinks, adult drinks. He had, yes, there's water, but he has adult drinks. He has all the gourmet sandwiches, and there's no way even he is not, you know, he's not that hungry where he's gonna eat. And he wouldn't be. He's just not eating all of these sandwiches, at least not all in one night. And so he begins to drift. The world begins to spin in his mind, and his mind then opens up, and he sees, he's like you know, he's in on the continent of Africa. You know, he's in the wild. It's kind of like a desert, but then he sees like light, like overbearing, and then he sees a very flash. He sees eyes, but he noticed that when he was making eye contact, it's like he could see the universe. He saw stars. He saw worlds, and then he looked further, but further out, and he saw a tree, and right at the foot of the tree he sees a lion. And so this lion, um, you know, he, you know, didn't seem like this lion, you know, had him in mind as a gourmet meal. He didn't. It just was just under the tree, very relaxed, and it was just a vibe that he just felt, that he didn't feel in danger, you know. And the lion did not move, but it just observed him, and he approached the tree, but then he stopped because he saw a man that was walking forward towards him, and he noticed the man. He noticed that actually the man was him all so many years ago. It wasn't a mirror, but it was an actual man, and he was thinking in his mind, he should be seeing another person, I should be seeing himself. Like, what is this? And he also had this sense that he could think. he wasn't trying. He didn't know. He didn't have a need for anything. He wasn't trying to look around and observe. Really, he wasn't trying to, run the opposite direction. It was no. It was not a fear factor. He felt comfortable, but it was just bizarre that he saw himself, and he saw himself in the state in life that once he remembered. Of course, he's not remembering back. Earlier that day, he was stressing to the universe the things he wanted, that he wanted a nice life, he wanted, food, good food. He wanted, to win his boss over, and his boss to not be any boss, but to be like top of the bosses, and that he would be appreciated and favored, and also money. That he would gain wealth, and also hopes of that he could have everything he ever desired, including the desires of a woman. And so he's acknowledged. He's obviously he's looking at him. So he's studying. That he's wearing a suit. Of course, he is nowhere. Right now, as we are speaking, he doesn't have a suit. He's not in a suit. Trust, he's not in a suit. He's worn, tethered, and we're talking about jeans, a jacket, a shirt, a hat, and a bag, like he is right now, and shoes. So he's looking kind of rough. It definitely not like this type of like a suit that, and of course, this environment, this gentleman that's stepping forward, it looks the appearance of what of the type of man or character or personality, the dress, the formal suit, or the suit for office work, this particular office work, as being in an executive office, fit for an executive space position. That's what this guy looked like. This guy belongs in the seat he's sitting in, not the guy who's sitting in there, of course, in the 3D world, in the waking world. And he didn't ask, "What is this?" There was no telepathy or nothing like that. And the eyes, a pair of eyes he saw, didn't interact with him, didn't speak with him or anything like that. He just so this is what he's accounting as he's in this scape that he's wandered into. So he's beginning to realize that either he's awake or he's hallucinating. So he's trying to figure this out. He's like, what? He's not reaching for the guy. He's not trying to touch the guy's face, but he is quite amazed that, like, how healthy he looks, or how well he looked then. He's seen himself, you know, uh, you know, uh, lots of times in the mirror. Looking in the mirror, he's seen himself thousands of times. Always in the mirror, always correcting himself, correcting his posture, fixing his collar, making sure his tie is aligned, making sure his tie is nice and neat and it's not all, how sometimes people like they rushed and tied and it looks kind of crooked. And then maybe a woman or an older gentleman will come in and make it like, very nice and, like very level and perfect, perfect knot, a perfect knot. Some people like they come in there like it looks like well, then somebody comes in and like, oh, let me get that for you. His dad or some like somebody who's like really got a lot of like, you're my winning horse. Can't have you looking any kind of way. You gotta look great. He fixes the tie is beautiful now, right? And then he like puts it all up to his neck. Got a little carried away. So yeah, he notices all that. He's like, like you're me. And so um so all this, he's taking it all in. He's just taking it all in. And he's realizing that, life is good. Life can be grand. Life can treat him well. So he's thinking about all of this. This is all in his mind. He's realizing that life is, like he's just start to have like his mind is expanding as well. He's beginning to realize that his mind is opening. Um, he's open to anything and everything is reaching him. Like he feels that he's, just more aware. Actually, it was like he was being revigorated as well, like revigorated, re-energized, and he just began to feel more like himself. It's like he had like his this dream allowing him to see himself as he really was, and maybe he's always been that guy deep down inside, and is this now he's has a little bit of like a little bit of a push, to so like a reminder, like he's being reminded that he is this guy. And he just, yeah, he got a little bit maybe distracted. And, maybe this is a sort of like universe's special way of saying, okay, now that you're no longer distracted, we've got your attention. How about we, how about we begin to put ourselves back together again, so to speak. So he's realizing that, seeing the lion at the foot of the tree, um, you know, the space where he's in Africa, his homeland, by the way. He is actually in the waking world, he's in Africa. So he's, this dream space is in Africa. And, he see the lion. The lion is, um, like he did not feel any fear or anything. Um, he's not even really focusing on the lion. The lion is just there and observing him, and he's more observing the fact that he's looking himself in the face, and it's more of his appealing self, because he's, throughout his waking life, he's walked past mirrors. He knows what he generally looks like. Of course, the way that he's described is an older man. This version of himself is like it's like that of a younger man, much younger actually, and uh, like a time when he might even say, "Oh yeah, this is my prime, like my best money making years," where he was, felt attractive. People maybe thought he was attractive. You know, but he was in a space where he could back up his wit. Right now, if he were to be witty, because the station, well, the way that he appears, people might just blow him off, as being weird. But if he looked like this guy and says all those witty things, people might just take him serious. So he's thinking about all of this, and who knows? Who knows? Um, maybe this is his pay attention type of dream. Maybe this something is telling him, pay attention, you know. But also he's in another realm, and so in another sort of consciousness. So he's not, doing too much deep dive thinking. He's not thinking, oh, I'm being given a second chance. He's not thinking like that. His mind is very much in the kind of like in the alpha state. He's in the alpha state right now, and he's just saying, okay, he needs to like get a firm grasp of what he's looking at. That's about it. Little does he know, the spoiler alert, this next portion of his story, it's in, and if he's ever to find this, the woman of his life that he downplays a lot, that he's looking for, like why he wants to have all this success, he's going to have to dredge up this version of himself. He's got to pull this version of himself from this dreamscape into the 3D world. He's going to have to find a way somehow to make that true. But he's too much in awe to even imagine that the dream is like telling him these things. I'm just kind of filling it in anyway, because that's exactly what's happening. In fact, he because he's used to sleeping throughout the morning into the midday, most likely because the gentleman, the executive, is coming back in the morning. It's probably going to be kind of like sitting there on the desk waiting for him to arouse and said, "Oh, like, have you given it some thought and what have you decided? So what's your decision? What is it going to be? What are you going to do?" So so this could definitely be enough sign, because I mean he is smart. This is like enough sign, like he's giving it some thought, like does he want to take on all this responsibility? um Life is what it is, but does he want to take on, because if there's a whole nother set of problems. um so he's already doing all the contemplating if this is something that he should be interested in, or if this is something that he should take on and do. And he is not quite aware that he is gaining inspiration. Like he's already starting to feel like parts of the self that he saw was um okay. He said that, well, something about, well, yes, he wanted to be this version of himself, but he's also feeling like inspired, actually, like he's truly sensing motivation, feeling motivated. I don't know what that means. So there's a bit of motivation for wanting, to, I guess, come back, well, in the reality, to begin this journey that in so many ways, it's like he's being guided, but he doesn't know, he has not had a direct encounter, at least nothing that he would consider to be supernatural. And it's not that he doesn't believe, it's not that he wouldn't believe, it's um he doesn't recognize those things. We talked about that he's one of those individuals who everybody else could feel something but him. Everyone could see something but him. It's just that he's not against it. He's not all the time saying, "Oh, there's no such thing, superstition, hogwash." He just doesn't talk about it. It's just not something that's on his mind at the moment, and never has been. Um, no stories as growing up as a child, through word of mouth, about if you ever visited, by um, beings, animals, dreams, visions, none of that. So all of this is happening to someone who, it's just all of the ideas and conversations, it just eluded him, in the past. So he's just observing all this for the first time, and with what he's equipped with. This is what he's using, the faculties he's using to make sense of it all. So, but he's not thinking, okay, so if I was thinking about this, um, then an actual person, an executive, puts me in a position to do these things, and here I am now having a weird sort of hallucination about everything that I've talked about, experienced in the waking world. Now I'm hallucinating about it. That's got to mean something. That's got to be my sign. That's got to be my cue. He's not putting everything together. He's not putting his life together even. So he's just right now feeling like, but I do feel really good though. Like he does get. He's like, I do feel really good. Like I do feel like my mind is open. I feel like I'm reaching for something, even though I don't quite know what it is. Um, I want to know. I'm. He's becoming curious. So, and he was a bit of a, what do you call it? Very ambitious. He was ambitious. He was very determined. He knew his he knew his power, or he knew his limitations. So he also knew like he has wonderful self-control, which he's also displayed that naturally. This is part. These are gifts that he would say, "Oh, I just do it. There's nothing to it." You know, it's not because some force gave me. Because I mean, at least that he's noticed. So it's something that he just, it's just a part of him. He's instilled that in himself, and he real yes, he can say yes, it's gotten him far in life, but he might chalk it up and rationalize and say, well, his brain got him far in life. So anyway, he's tapping into some old characteristics, and I can't wait to see how, how this unfolds throughout his dreaming. So that's this section. So I just explained what's going on, and I will. Well, then not so the next live, which that one's definitely going to be 10 a.m. That one is going to be the one where having the conversations about um, like what's going on. Like the executive will be back. It'll be in the morning, and then of course we already know he has to say yes. By the way, he has to. So he's that's what he's feeling right now. He's like, for him to know more of what's happening to him, he has to say yes to the executive. He has to take the job in this. He's already in his office, so he's already enjoying some of the perks. Now, now it's time to actually make it official and take the salary that he. And of course, that's what he actually wants. He just got lucky, kind of like when he was invited up and kind of, and invited to stay over the night, and also there's, I guess, sort of like some kind of refreshments or something. So he's come to that conclusion that he's probably better to say yes, to agree to take the job that's being offered. And then, okay, now, so that's the story, and I will definitely I'll continue the rest of it in the I will continue the rest of it in that's going to be at 10 a.m. Okay. So this gentleman is interesting because it appears that he's being guided on a very particular path and moving in a very specific direction. Um, he seems to be taking into account, um, that he's ending up in these peculiar sort of circumstances in which he keeps benefiting. So it's like, well. if he keeps getting rewarded, if this is a maze and he's getting rewarded every step closer that he gets to the, I guess you want to say the exit, then he should keep going. So that's also what's going on. He is getting rewards because each time that he's interacted with the world around him, um, since he kind of put out there to the universe the things he's wanted, he's gotten these things. Uh, they are materializing, but he hasn't fully um, come to the conclusion that anything special is happening. So I would say that he's soon moving into what the yogi call attainment. That attainment is a special word. It means that you have focus and you have maintained your focus long enough to where in your from your perspective it's more real than not. It becomes even more dense and materialized, and now it's in, I guess it's in your lap or in your hands, and so it's you obtaining, but you're attaining something. Attainment means there's something that you are achieving. One might say, you mean like, yes, exactly. This definitely is a manifestation work, but this is a very specific kind of work, and it connects it, well, or you connect with it in a very specific way, and there's a lot of discipline that goes with this type of work. Like, for example, you might find that you have to like every special timing. Like you have to choose a day. So that means if it's once a month, or whatever's agreed upon, if it's twice a week, you have to stick with it. And so, yeah, so there's all these disciplines of repetition. I mean, and it's so they and of course whoever the instructor is for this took it so serious that if you break it, I mean, it's kind of like, hey, you just kind of ruined our program here. So that, I mean, they don't take it lightly. So it's like you can't be like, well, I thought I would just skip this month. Like that you can't get to the next lesson, and now you're off balance. So yeah, the whole thing is scrapped. It's like that's how serious it is. But anyway, um, this is the manner of of teaching, I guess, discipline to focus. And so I've also uh, kind of sorted out my own sort of thoughts on this, because one is concentrating and one is focused. The one where the instructor is saying we're following very specific and instructions, and we're doing this repetitiously, and there absolutely are no exceptions. You cannot miss a time, date, no being late, and usually like it's something ridiculous, like you have to literally pay like $1 or $2 or something like that as well. You can't pay more than that. Like if it's $5, let's say, oh, I want to pay this month and next month. You can't do it that way. You have to pay you can't pay less either. You have to pay exact no, the discipline, the focus is you have to, if it's $3, you gotta pay $3. But at $3, that means $3. I could just pay up to six of 6 weeks or 6 months. I just give you $24, and nope, they give that back. They said you have to give what is required. $3, okay, here's $3. Like a lot of people modern, like they don't understand why that is. It's not for the sake of the fact that you have it or don't have it, or uh or making this um, tedious, but it's meticulously focusing on a very specific objective and creating a condition to where you feel the discipline, you feel the pressures of having to do a very specific regimen as you're manifesting like tangible uh, results. That is the way towards like a attainment. So he's stepping into that. He hasn't quite stepped into that framework just yet. By the way, some people discover these things on their own. Not everybody goes to a spiritualist or a reverend or somebody who's going to show them these things or teach them these things, meditations and so forth. Sometimes people discover things all on their own, and because sometimes people are not even aware. Like I speak to a few people, and they have I guess, a way of displaying a special extra something, I guess, that you might say might be a gift from the universe or a gift outside themselves. And I'm nervous to tell them like how they're doing it, how it applies, and what they should be doing because they have it perfect already, and I don't want to mess them up. I always say, look, I don't want to risk you doing start picking up bad habits from knowing that okay, you're doing it right. Now I'm telling you all these other factors that could go wrong. So I was like, don't second guess it. In this area, keep doing as you're doing. But if you want to improve, then I give them some things to do to improve, to hone in on that ability. So he definitely, the gentleman, the old man, he's not there quite yet. He's not there yet, but I'd say he's working on it. He's doing his best. I want to get there. He's trying to get to a place of I think he now wants to understand or he wants to know more because this event in this dreamscape he's in, this and also this is not a particularly a dream. It's like he's in a trance, like he's just in his mind. And but there's so much is happening. He's not like saying, "Okay, I'm here, so let me do what I want." He's following along as though he's like, "This is supposed to be a dream, but this doesn't. It's not." And like the functions here, my function here, operations here, does not feel like it's mechanical. Doesn't feel scripted. It feels like I could literally walk up to that lion if I wanted to. But no, he's not going to do it because he's too much in awe right now. He's in awe of the fact that yeah, him seeing himself, having a dream of he's literally seeing himself. That took the cake right there. That the lion, okay, seeing the eyes, the eyes, seeing the lion at the tree, okay, seeing the brightness of the light, imposing light from this vibrant, but then seeing himself, that part is what got him. Everything else was like, okay, strange, strange, okay, okay, stay away from the lion. But then himself, that was like, okay, it's almost like he's just about to say, hold on, what's going on here? Somebody tell me what's going on. So this is where we stop. Because in the morning, then I can continue the story. So this is the first otherworldly experience that is occurring, but he doesn't recognize any of this. Is it is so far from what he thinks on a day to day. But the good thing is some things are going to happen. Some pretty nice things are actually going to transpire, and he's going to grow. He's going to grow into something um, much more sophisticated than he has been, and he knows how to live life. Like oh yeah, you know better, but even this guy, it seemed like he's go lucky, but when we remove the luck, a guy who has the ability to help him get his best foot forward in life again actually interacted with him. So it isn't just it's like he's seeing that this guy means well. He thinks he doesn't know him too well. He's only met him briefly, but he's done an awful lot, and he's already established that the guy's not a weirdo or anything, or expect him to do something that he just doesn't. He said, look, you know, do what you want to do, but like leave me out of it. He's already established that the guy's not there to walk all over him or anything. He's not there to use him for anything. Um, yep. So he's already feeling, I guess, safe. He feels okay. So anyway, that's so this is something that's going to continue to move towards. Um, I think it's going to continue to move towards where he's he's realizing that he's on a very specific path, and if he stays on the path, then he, he he's going to be extremely lucky. And right now he's not being let down, and it's not even a full day. It doesn't even seem like there would be 8 hours involved in this. Like it's just literally, you know, he's impressed, I guess. Well, he would at least know that this gentleman who says, has pull, can open doors for him. He knows that much. He's aware of that. Okay, some superficial things. He's not thinking in terms of like, well, um, what about having um, like uh, like where this gentleman is going to give him money and things like that, or and maybe paying him at the table, and he's like he's not saying, the guy didn't tell him that he is the executive. The guy didn't tell him that. The guy just said you would be working with me, of course you'd work for yourself, but he never said, oh, by the way, this is all mine. I did all this from the ground up. Is he's like, whoa, and you trust me with this? Well, won't you like get somebody new, and in their prime, and he's not, it's not, they're not even at that conversation haven't been had yet, but or like what, like why would you just choose somebody random person, you don't even know me? Like they haven't even had that conversation. It's just he's just thinking that he just met maybe a guy that just works within the company, maybe a guy that has some ties. Maybe they can create a moment, and then if he performs well, then everybody can win. That's as much as he got from out of it so far. So the guy, the old man, I mean, doesn't know the full picture of what a potential of what is currently transpiring. Like he has no clue in that regard. So yeah, so he's it's definitely he's coming to to bring something to this old man's life. I don't know if, I mean, even I don't know if the guy has anything going on in that sort of extra realm and dimension. To me, this looks like an executive that who really wants to try something different. That's what I got from it. I don't see any conversations between the executive guy and the universe. So the universe is, no one is aware of the universe. The universe is definitely, the universe is definitely acting on her own, its own, his own. However the universe goes. The universe is present though. You know, like we've seen that a few times. Like when the old man is speaking out and saying, I want these things. I want to meet the, you know, somebody who could change my life. I want to be in a great job position, and he wants all these things. He starts to say all these things. We see the universe, but the guy is unaware of the universe. The guy is still unaware. He's unaware even as he's having this visitation dream. Like while he's being visited in this dream, and he's sort of traveled out a bit in this vision of his, he is still unaware of any outside play that he may or may not be involved in, so to speak. So we definitely will cover it. I've attracted a fly that, oh my gosh, out of nowhere. I was like, where did you come from? It's like I thought I heard something. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, just like, what's going on? Then land on my mic. It's like, oh boy, no, no, no. That's the last thing I need. My nerves are already on the edge this week. So it must have heard me talking about him because yeah, I don't I don't feel him agitating anymore. Okay. So anyway, so I will talk about what's going on next. I will talk about it. Um, but it's gonna be at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. for sure. I got out of this one because um, I was like, well, I can always come in this evening, but I don't intend to stay. I guess here for, I don't know, 6 hours. 6 hours. 6 hours. How long did I stay from? Okay, hold on. From 10. Okay. Um, well, I do stay on for 6 hours actually. I don't know. This feels different from to stay on till close to midnight here. It feels much different. No, so I do stay when I am here. Well, on online it says like 4 hours or something like that. It says 4 hours, but in my head, total interaction is definitely 6 hours. So anyway, I'm thinking more like an hour today. I'd be fine because you all gave me a lot of stream time. I noticed. Oh, it's just now starting. Oh boy. I feel like, oh boy, am I supposed to stay on for 6 hours? The retention is high, amazing retention. So I'm very thankful for that. Okay, hold on, hold on. Let's see where we are at. Let me do a little walkthrough. Um, let's see. Oh, mm, okay, hold on. Wow. Y'all also gave me hours as well. Thank you so much for visitors. So you guys really did help me. Um, yeah, at this rate, I definitely will reach my my first 1,000 hour mark. Once I reach 1,000 hours, I think I'll feel good. I feel much better. 500 watch hours, I definitely will feel like okay. I'll see some light. But right now, it feels like I'm like learning all about the learning curves. Yeah, I'm learning all about the learning curves. Like, oh, I learned that. I'm glad I learned that now early. I, um, maybe because it's something that I'm not seeing right now. I know for a fact I'm always gonna to have my well, I want to be a psychic on my channel. So I think I'm always going to keep my psychic job. I'm pretty sure of that. I don't want to rely. I don't want to give up my station. I worked really hard to get these positions. So I'm most likely I'm going to try to do all of it at the same time. And then, when amazing things can happen, of course, we know what I want to use my YouTube channel for to create. I want to get to the place where how they have like YouTubers who are setting up their own meet and greets and things like that, or they're partnering with different places. Yeah, I'm gonna do all that. I'm gonna partner and uh, do and do things from my experiences as a psychic, and definitely have books written. Definitely gonna have my book written, and but it will be from my YouTube platform online. Yep, my platform will be on wheels. So yeah, so that's why I'm using my YouTube channel. In terms of like, so what do you intend to do? Obviously, talk about everything and under the sun regarding my interests. But like, what do you intend to do with it? So that's what I intend to do. Because then, first of all, it'll get me out there to the world, and then I'll be able to see exactly like what universe is guiding me to do. I'm pretty sure it'll be more than just doing like a live show or something. I know it's gonna be more than that. Um, yeah. So I do have some experience in that area. So anyway, so I definitely will know how to go about setting that up when that time comes. I know how to get around. uh, and also like depending on like it can be in any location. It doesn't have to be just in one special place. So like, would you be able to actually come to, rather than I guess people come to me or go to a very specific place, I can come to them. But being that I am studying how people are utilizing this as a feature, like they're actually uh, like flying, like going to other countries together, or going on cruises together, or events, retreats together. So that's how they're doing things. Like kind of like a club in their member club. But I also want it where I can go to like go come to people who are like members, like subscribers, and do something for them that they would come to and enjoy. And I hope that okay, so mine, I'm hoping that I could cover everything and people would just like be allowed to show up. Like if they get there, the rest is they're taken care of. The way that I'm seeing people are doing it though, however, they are they have to do a pack. Everybody's doing a package. So if you want to go, you got to do a package. And they're like, you got to, of course, like any event, like you go to a convention, you just pay like if it were a convention. But my dream was to be able to, like, you know, I also want to do like something like ticket sale bit, whenever if I were to do a theater sort of situation. But I mean, like, if I want to be in a position where I can do events, because I used to could do it when I had okay, so I put up a nonprofit, and a nonprofit would allow me to raise an X amount of money, and then of course, X amount of money allowed me to have X amount of seats. And I'm talking, I looked from whether it would be 10 seats to 1,000 seats. So I know I can go big because you think 1,000 seats, you thinking, okay, well, if 50 people come or if 700 people come, that's still covering, and they also said if you need additional, then they have to you have to work out a price. So it's possible. And and catering and all that and all that. And also, make, you know, uh, make plans to make it into if you want to say, like reminds me much of like a close relay, like it's a dinner theater, and including like things I may need if I need a projector, things like that. Yep. So I already long time ago, I was already dreaming about this. Kind of like if like when you're young, you say, "I'm going to do this. I want to do this." Well, I wonder if I were going to put some of an event together, like what would I need? And so I already did all that, and so I was looking at the area that I was in, and then I said, "Well, what if I want to do this?" Like, because you think in terms of a tour, like, what if I want to do this in other locations? What would I? Yes, I even looked it up to see if I did a few locations, the cost. So I was like, if if this path that I'm going to walk is true, I could do that. And I was like, I would do that actually. So people say, well, that doesn't. How's that making any sense? Um, well, for me, working with clients and then not only working with them, but also doing memberships, also doing like books, things like that, ebooks, and all of like digital content. To me, it looks pretty feasible for the nature of work that I'm intending to do. And of course, that was the way that I was thinking. I may have been thinking that way because I had the nonprofit. So, and of course, the nonprofit is more like outreach, and you're supposed to be helping or giving back, or seemingly so, to the uh, society. Not that you can't do fundraisers and things; you absolutely can, or donate, like donate things meant to help fund or raise, I guess the nonprofit organization. So that's probably why that experience helped me to think along the lines that I'm thinking. But even while I was thinking that, I'm the okay, so I'm the founder. So to me, it would have still come across as money coming out of the pocket, even though it would be nonprofit, but that money was coming from somewhere. And then it's like this can still happen. I can still do something, some variation of that. So anyway, so that's what I mean. Of course, that is, as far as to my knowledge, that's well into the future. For the meanwhile, um, you're on the journey along with me to learn is all that we can learn as much as we can. So yes, we learn business stuff on our own. Um, we engaged business classes. We've engaged uh, creative writing classes. We're going to write books. So we know how to do a lot of secular stuff, formulating like LLCs and things like that, and starting getting a 501c3. We know how to do that. Done that. Been there. Know how. Know how to do it. I don't know how to know about articles, all of that. Writing articles for your uh, nonprofit. Understanding bylaws. But it doesn't. Oh, by the way, you don't have to have bylaws, but the articles you have to have. um, but of the articles can be a variation of bylaws. So like it can be similar to the articles, like but more like phrases and statements and things like that, and clarification of what the organization is and what it's defining what it does, its function. Yeah, I understand all of that. Besides the okay, so I was in a weird position. So I was allowed to. It's like I was in school. So I was like I was studying that while doing readings and getting a feel for the industry. So now I'm focusing on like industry psychic type of education. Um, and of course, I always talk about this, but there's some new, I guess, books to get into. I am going to, but on the other side of everything, I'm going to wait until I have 3,000 watch hours, and then I'm going to get into that material. But I have an infinite wealth of material that I just know of that we never get to it really. So I share a lot of information in that space, in the space as it is, and then that's a good thing. Of course, doing readings, of course, insight comes or wisdom comes through just me reading. It's when I interact with people. A lot of the information that I'm describing, it just comes out naturally. Every time my clients speak with me, they always learn something new. They're always learning something about their journey, but also like wisdom while on their journey, for their journey, specific journey. So yeah, so definitely the model is it's going to be successful because we know exactly how to do it, but we just don't. Well, there's no point in talking about it now. It's about manifesting. I mean, if you'll see when you manifest it, and you see it. Or well, then it's like, well, how did you discover how to do that? Where did you find out how to do that? Who told you how to do that? Who taught you how to do that? So, so we're skipping all of that conversation since we no longer need, we don't need anybody's permission. So, oh, I had a dream of my godmother and my godfather, excuse me, god brother, my godmother, my godmother, and I met a godfather that I never met in the 3D world. Was there as my godmother's man. It's so funny because she said that I would have a dream of him and her. I didn't. She didn't tell me, oh yeah, when I die, you're gonna have dreams of me. It wasn't like that. It was more like you're gonna dream of one like a top teacher who is a man, and it's like of course I'm gonna continue to elevate and learn. And I put it all together. She was talking about herself. She is a teacher, and she gonna be sitting next to her man. Now I was too young for to flat out say, yeah, yeah, yeah. We all kind of go over there, and I'll be sitting with, and you'll better see me. But so anyway, I had a dream, and I had a brief conversation, and I was like updating them about my life. I was saying, oh yeah, yeah, everything you taught me and everything. I'm like, yeah, today, like very briefly, I read, I read tarot cards. I work with people one on one, with counsel, and so yeah, all of that. And she sat down and she just like was like listening to the whole story. It was just like, wow, that's good. Employing all this information. Then I was also I was speaking to my my god brother, And I was like telling him, I was like something to the effects of like some things that I would ask him now, like does he still, believe, does he still follow the way? That's how I would word it to him. Um, or some people might say, do you still practice? But we would say in our way, we would say, do you still follow the way? Do you still a believer, aren't you? Um, so of course, he said, yeah, 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 yeah. And then we talking about like um, creating safe ways to crossing over into portals. So I felt like we were having a visitation and we knew what we were talking about. And I was like, we were talking in spirit language, like, yeah, I know how to come see you. I know how to safely get here. And so clearly, so do you. It's like I approached this place, and, he guided me to where he was. Like, is this it? This like, is this your space? And I was, it's like a van, so the doors were open, and I saw certain things that that were his. So I was like, yeah, but I identified spiritually as like, oh yes, that was as we were growing up. And it's like, so you still are involved? He's like, yeah, yeah, of course. And then yeah, so yeah, it was a very interesting dream. Vision. It was a travel dream, so it's like we were traveling. But yeah, oh, by the way, the man who is with my godmother, I didn't meet him, but I heard a lot about him in this lifetime. I heard a lot about him. I saw his picture, um, and so that's how I recognized him. But I didn't meet him in this realm. But he came out of nowhere and was like, "Oh yeah, come on, you can stay. Make yourself at home." And I was like letting him know, um, like okay, so they were big. Like okay, so she was very big on taking care of things, like making like we would all eat together at the same time. That was a big thing. And in the dream, I was like, say, oh no, no, no worries, thank you so much. Yes, they said that that it'd be okay. But of course, the guy, man of the house, he said, yeah, yeah, it's okay. Come on in, come on. He's like very welcoming. I come out of nowhere, like, oh yes, you come on in, come in, you're welcome. And I was like letting him see what's in my bag, and I was like, see, like I already have like things, I have, like in this dream, I was already like prepared, like I had provisions. I was like, see, I have provisions for myself and everything. I'll be no trouble, and I actually, am not intending to stay, like not a permanent thing, but just I'm actually just visiting and then I'm exiting. But kind of like, look, I'm only here for a few days, and you're the people who I know. I don't know anybody else. Oh, I wish I would have called. Evan said at one point, I wish I would have called beforehand and to let you know what I was coming. And, and yeah, it was a whole ordeal. It was a full on conversation. And I hadn't seen them even in the dream. We all knew we hadn't seen each other like in years. We're talking about childhood experiences here. So it was, yeah, it was a, oh yeah, that was the conversation was so perfect. It was like a perfect conversation. Like everything you would say, and it felt like this is really happening. I'm not going to tell you what state, because that's a little too much. Yes, I even in the realm over there though, it was the realm over there looks different. So, but they do have a location, and when I referred to the either location over there, it's the same name as a state. I'm not going to tell you which one. You have 1 out of 50 chances. 51 chances in some cases. So yeah, 1 out of 50 chances to get it right. But yeah, that's what happened. So I do feel like so you feel like something new. I feel like something was been like information has been updated from my past, like kind of like when you have a dream and you go back and you're telling certain relatives of certain things, advancements, or goals or graduations you've had. It's kind of like that. That's exactly what it was. It was me going back home and or a place where I identified as home and saying, "Hey, look, um, I've accomplished this and I've done this. I'm a graduate. Yeah, yeah, got out of made it past high school. Education. Got university educated. Things like that. So I was like, and everything you introduced and taught me in my life. Well, today, I actually do this, as my career. Done it for all, all, of course, all my life. Of course, you're a part of that, and yeah, look, I got good things going on. So I was like, yeah, yeah, but it's like letting her know on the other side. We were on the other side, like letting her know and letting I guess my god brother know too. It's like, yeah, everything is good, everything is fine. I still, am in my path. So. So these are things that definitely make you think about the whole like um, spiritual things. Like for okay? There's the conversation on the TikTok about people going to the water park and they're using the outhouses or I guess like um, urinals or toilets as portals, and I'd be something running around in the night if I did not have dreams like that. Like prior, like month prior, like people were running, like it was like a line as well. Just like everything they explained, like there's a line, and then a person goes, is like, oh. So then I was like, usually this doesn't work for me. And then in this instance, it does, and you transport you to another location and you come out and you're in this other location and you see other people popping out. And I'm like, how I don't care about where we went. I want to know how that happened and what does that mean? Like, are there like spiritual consciousness or clusters where people are? Now this one wasn't bad, but imagine maybe some people in the spirit world need to be rescued. I'm just imagining already. There's probably some because you imagine like spiritual kingpins. People who in the spirit world they're like bullying all the other spirits. And that's the first place where my mind went to, like like on those supernatural shows where the spirit is saying, "I'm not gonna let him go because I'll be by myself," and they keep everybody hostage, and they gotta go in there and they gotta press the right levers to get them to break ties with this. Okay, so anyways, I'm not gonna let that bother me. So anyway, so end up getting rescued. So they rescue everybody, and everybody gets to go everywhere they need to go. So that's the first thing comes to mind. I'm like, what if what if I don't want to go to these pocket places? But then it makes you also think all the time where you're saying, oh yes, you're visiting dream people. What if you're actually just visiting people? You're just visiting people. Now, in metaphysics, we believe that when you make contacts or contracts, contracts, that everybody, like if, let's say you're going to go to the bank today, everybody in the bank at that very moment when you're there has made a contract to be there under whatever the circumstances. And as one progresses forward, and everything materializes to the detail. The crack in the wall to the fly on the wall. Like I have a fly in here every now and then trying to bother me. Even to the person saying, I'm gonna ring in the 3D world, I'm gonna ring you up. I'm gonna message you, something like that. All of that is like that happens. Well, at least that's what they say. Spiritualists do. So now this is like something very intentional. And by the way, I wasn't trying to go to any kind of water park, and I wasn't. My grand hopes was not to use a urinal or toilet as a portal to go anywhere. So, but exactly the way, but I cannot deny exactly the way that they presented it in the videos is exactly the experience. And I did see many, I guess I saw all of you as well at the water park. I was one of many, of course. We don't see people like that. It's kind of like when you really do go, like if you really do go to a park, like you're not trying to look at every single. You might try to, maybe get your eyes get stimulated, but you're not trying to look at every single person. At least I'm not. Like I wasn't even trying to look at one person. I was just like, what is this? By the way, it's I'm gonna be honest with you. In terms of like quality of locations to go visit, this feels um very low quality. This is not the place I would go and if I was going to astral travel. Like whatever this whatever this was, this version always reminds me of like conscious, universal conscious stuff. Like when you connect with people universal consciously, like on a clairvoyant type level. But it's definitely not the astral realm. It's not a beautiful place. It has structures. It has like these sort of winding streets. Also, they're like the streets are like the way. Okay, the dream people explained to me that like you'll find like okay, like it's similar to what it is here to the best of the way people can recall it. So like you might have okay, so on a street like it might start like a neighborhood, but if you keep walking, it turns into restaurants and mall parks and mall departments, outlets, mall, or something like that, something strange like that. And when you go in there, they do have currency, but it's like everything is in coins. So like it's uh $15 and you like coins is like $15. So something like that. And and then you have some variation of, like I'm gonna be honest with you. It the food there is always extra nourishing, but you also it's like you want to keep eating it, and sometimes it's like, is this aftertaste type type of taste? Is it an aftertaste? I don't know. So I was eating fish, and it was like I would eat fish, I would consume it, and I would get the feeling of being full, but it was so caught up in like stimulation of wow, this fish is really good. And by the way, that was how I knew that Japan's fish were okay because that's exactly where I was in the 3D. It was like, look. I was like, well, let me taste it. If anything's wrong, we'll know. So I was chowing down on it. I did a live on it already. I was chowing on it, and then I was like, "This fish is okay. Like you can eat this fish." It's like it's okay. It's like okay. So I did a live. I said, it says because they were saying that China didn't want to import fish from Japan because they felt that is it contaminated because of the whole chemical spill in the sea. And so that prompted me to have that visitation dream. I said, actually, it's this fish is okay. This fish is good. Whatever they're doing to secure and safeguard the fish that they're eating themselves and exporting to China, it's good. It's okay. And yeah, it was very delicious. But sometimes when I think about it, I'm thinking, now, how does that work? Is it like remembering what it tastes like? It's like it tasted okay. In the dream, it was the best fish I ever had. It's like when you haven't had it in a long time, and it has a very specific taste, very sea taste, and you know what it is. I don't know if it was a remembrance or if it was like, no, maybe it's an. I was like, well, maybe it's the aftertaste. Like you eat the fish, you've already had fish, but then you're like, oh, that was so good, and then it's like the aftertaste. Like, is that aftertaste all at once, or is it really like? Because I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out to this day. Like, how does that work? Because I'm be honest with you. Sometimes, whenever I'm invited as a guest to eat over there, I'm always like, okay, first of all, like, what realm am I in? Because there are some realms. If we were being funny, we would say some realms should not ever exist, or some realms are not meant for you to ever discover. You never want to. You as a in this realm, probably somebody in another realm is saying the same thing about our realm, but you would never want to go to that. That realm was never intended for you to enter or to stumble on. But sometimes I think it isn't by accident. I think universe sometimes lets you see, well, there is something bigger, something more. There is something much more than you may not even understand it, but here's a glimpse, and you're like, whoa, 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 wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Well, don't show me that again. You have to show me all of that. So, and there's one. I mean, like some things you cannot unsee. Like there's realms you go to that really do pull your whole scalp back, and you're like, you will never unsee that realm. Or if you get involved in that realm and didn't do your due diligence and like, you know, get curious. Like, okay, first of all, what kind of place is this? Where am I at? And you start getting involved like it's back at home. Now everybody else is normal because they live there, they're from there, and then you are whatever you're doing, and you're realizing this is not something that's okay. This is not okay. This is not something. If I was doing this at home, I'd be, you would get ill. You would you definitely would be. So they would see if you're okay, send somebody to check up on you or something. And everybody would want to stay away from you. But over here in that realm, it's normal. So yeah, I'm being very obscure, so it doesn't sound right even when I say it out loud. But there are realms that you say we weren't meant to know. We weren't meant, but universe lets us see just to like look. There is things that you don't understand. You could not even begin to understand, and not in a scary way that you shouldn't be curious. You shouldn't go look. But I'm just saying there are realms that if you knew that you were going to that realm in the dream, you would say, no, 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 I don't want to, I'm not going to that. If you had a choice, you wouldn't be going there. Okay, I'll give you one. I'm not going to give you, because it's pretty disgusting. There's a few of them that's pretty disgusting, but there's one that's really freaky. This is a freaky one. So this one is like, you go there and you constantly get the feeling from all around that something is watching you, and also you hear like little like conversations, simultaneous conversations, and it seems like everything moves. And if you stare at things too long, it you find out that it is moving. So let's say it looks like this, like it can um you realize that these are like the little specks of entity that has replicated more or less of something natural. And what's so even freaky, they create like like the living room, and you see flowers and everything, and you're sitting on everything, but everything is alive and like very small little like little and black and dark, whatever the color, like dark. And they just go and you hear like first of all you'll be sitting there and you're like just kind of just what's going on, how are things, and you're like looking to see somebody came in, and then you look and like this will fall apart into these little things, and everything starts to, and you realize like these things are laughing. They're just hysterically laughing, trying to like in my perception, I like trying to consume, and I was like, oh boy. So of course I was getting out of that realm as quickly as I could. So that's just one. That's just one. Oh, and by the way, there's a presence. It's like, so if you're sitting like in the living room, there's a feeling like something like like at the bottom of like an abyss, because all this is created, right? Space is created. It's got light and everything. You feel like, oh yeah, I'm just in a living room. But outside of that is dark, and at like in the abyssal level, it's like this big eye, like eye or presence is its eye on you, like like I'm stalking, like stalking type vibes. Like what do you call it? Like when the lion is, I think you're a bit like the lioness, does like trying to creep up on you. Oh yeah, that realm. I cannot unsee that realm. I visited that realm, and now I cannot unsee it. There's more. I will spare you, but that's one. So, as an example, like there are realms, and what? Okay, I'll give you this. So, how do you even stumble these places? Okay, the way that it looked like to me, it looked like a long hallway, and then there are these sort of like every so many whatever meters or feet or whatever, there's or paces. There's a door. There's like a big doorway, not an ordinary door. It's like a doorway, and if you step through the doorway, when you step in, it's an entire realm or universe. So you would walk up, look through the door, and so I was walking in this hallway. I stayed in the middle, and I was just crossing into my destination. And of course, every so often I would look and I would see these realms. Some of them would have like bright lights. Some of them, another realm would be very like with pitch black and dark. Other realms are like, there's no way I'm going in that. Like it's just like a thick, thick forest. Another one where it was like green, like a swamp green. Another one was where it's fiery red. Another one where it was, I don't want to say, whatever it was. Keep walking. And then it was like, yeah, you don't want to, an entity is like, yeah, you don't want to go into any of those. It explained to me that those are realms. And it was just very, very briefly explained to me that, um, sometimes people are sent or like guided there because an experience they got to have. Um, but he's like, that's not you. But now yeah, there are realms other than your realm. And and then I stepped out of all of that and um, kind of went out to a hangout space. It was like a location with like a hangout, kind of like where we were hanging out for a few moments. So, yeah, there are weird realms or realms that, you know, I don't think it's meant for you to go to any realm, to be honest. I think that it's meant for every type of whatever you are to find that center. Like they said, walk the narrow path. I think you're meant to walk the narrow path. Like you just keep going, and then you go to the light and embrace the light. The light is where your destination is. Not not to visit these other realms, but yeah. I mean, if you want to say, okay, what about the daring, the adventure side? Be human for a second. Okay, if I'm gonna be human, and let's say out of fun of being human, our kind of human, I mean, in this realm, yes, it would be an adventure. Yeah, it's absolutely 1,000%. It's an adventure, and you should go. I also have dreams of like in the astral realm, there are astral worlds. So Oftentimes, I'm traveling to the astral realms interpretation of world and planet, um, its frequency as well. So just so as like you're approaching something, you become in tune, and then um, in this sort of way. Hold on. Okay, they want me to not talk about it. Okay, okay. So okay, I can paraphrase. Okay, so there are spiritual worlds where you're becoming in tuned. Can I say that? Okay, you're becoming in tuned, and they can open your perception where you can see onto that frequency. And then on that frequency, there's a whole world. There's a whole people, and can I tell what these people look like? I mean, there's another there can be another group of individuals, and like their transportations could be like it's altered. Like that it's a transportation, but it doesn't look like anything that you're familiar with, and like what vehicles for now look like here, and even what the people look like there are even physical traits, certain physical traits you would say are different. Yeah, it's intense, and so when I after I had that experience, um, I was saying, oh, that's what people who are doing the live TikToks and they do like this is what they're trying to look like. Now I know what they're imitating. They're imitating. They're, okay, now I get it. It's like they look if it were like part of their actual physical attributes, they would. That's like, oh, now I know. I get it now. And I'm not even trying to like go to these places. Like that's not on my mind. Like I'm not over here watching, deep space stuff. I'm not. That's not even. Yeah, it's just strange. Some strange things. I'm gonna hopefully I'll get the right permissions to talk about certain things. Every time I go, sometimes one of the beings are like spiritual leaders, like saying. Also, my godmother, like there's just certain words that like can't can't talk about. So it's like I have to kind of hold some of that back. I think I will find a way to get the information to you, though, like to be able to share, because it's very fascinating. It is. Anyway, we went off into a little bit of a tangent, and I'm being a lot of being very secret. Oh, and I was watching Owen Shore by chance, and something that Pam Bondi said about Trump is he called him the master builder. She said he's the master builder. Well, now I can already hear. Are you stupid? If you don't think that Trump is not a mace or some kind of fraternity, you are stupid. They came to him. If he didn't go to them, they came to him. Okay, I get it. Yeah. So, but specifically, she referred to him as the master builder, because of well, it was the physical space was to bring up. They want to I guess renovate or make right Alcatraz, the prison Alcatraz. They want to revive it, right? And so here's the thing. She calls Trump, he's the master builder. She called him a master builder. And master builders, that's applied to someone of high ranking. It's like, they could be considered calling someone like the master builder to be, either, well, from where it derives would be um, like God in Masonic language, but then it would be like a prophet, like Moses was considered to be. No, no, excuse me. Well, Moses, yeah, I could see that. But like Joshua, master builder, Moses, master builder, uh, Abraham, master builder. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? David, especially David, master builder. In fact, he's like where the where it's applied to the human, the master builder is applied is King David, Solomon, King Solomon, excuse me, King Solomon, and David, both of them master builders. So the other one is it Archimedes? Archimedes considered that's a little bit of some other type stuff, but like the Brotherhood of Light, believe in I believe Archimedes, and he would be considered a master builder. So well, they now have considered. They've said, well, she's told us. Oh yes, by the way, Trump is a master builder. He's on that level. He's a master builder. It's like, oh, it's like if you know, you know. And so anyway, he wanted re like put Alcatraz back together again, and so we're like letting you know, yeah, we're gonna we already have everything that we need to make it happen. Very fascinating, fascinating indeed. So, uh, yeah. Anyway, so there's that. That's an eye opener. Like when they were talking about this, like, did you just hear what she just said? She she's using like the language that the forefathers used in order to make society even dream of possibilities of doing anything big. So this is on the level of, so if they go with this is would be considered um, what do you call those, archetypical for them to do this project. If they take on this project, it is be considered divine. They do the project, it's a divine project. Meaning they'll put all their, am I good? Okay. So they put their entire heart, more or less, into this uh, project, so to speak. Okay. So I'm gonna keep this one. I know I'm supposed to stay in for 6 hours, but my mind, I want to get this fly. First of all, that's number priority. And then I kind of, it's the evening, and like I said, I'm out of my, I've gone through my transformation while the fly was bothering me. So I want to enjoy as the rest is smooth sailing, and I want to maybe I'll come back on and I'll turn on some lights, things like that. But thank you for keeping me